everyone. I am Yvette Lloyd, host of Life Her podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I really appreciate you all once again for continuing to purchase my book, The Millionaire Mindset Shift. Today, I want to talk about this episode. It's called Born a Leader. Entrepreneurship is in my blood. Listen, some people discover entrepreneurship in a classroom, some people discover it in a boardroom, and some of us all discover it in its survival mode. A lot of times you are surrounded by so many things and you want different. Sometimes people choose to change their lives and navigate a different direction, or some people end up incarcerated or led the wrong way and be surrounded by people that they really shouldn't be around, and they take their pain somewhere else where they didn't have a chance to redirect it or have anyone around them, or even not even have a strong mindset for them to even just do right for themselves. Because a lot of times, sometimes the easy way out of going into the streets and doing things that is unethical for you to do in your life, it sometimes leads you into a wrong path. However, I have seen people change many times over the years and wanted a better life for themselves afterwards. And my late husband, he was one of those individuals that did experience that. And I have other men in my life that have done the same. However, I had a whole family of individuals, and I noticed that everyone was afraid. I saw everyone in fear all the time. And it could be like the smallest thing. It could be them even wanting to travel a lot. So I love traveling. I love seeing in the world, the whole world, and I love experiencing different things in life. But growing up, my family was scared to fly on planes. They were afraid of new environments. Even as I got older, when I was telling my mom I wanted to go away from college, she like, no, you shouldn't go that far. She just always wanted me real close to her. So I always, you know, took her word of advice that I should stay home. I should stay close to her and everything. Even as far as I live in Akron, Ohio, she didn't even want me to go to Columbus, Ohio. She didn't even want me to go to Cleveland, Ohio. So she just wanted me right here with her, and I ended up becoming her neighbor. But it was a lot of experiences that I have experienced when it comes to things like that, where you find family members just keeping you still, and it has to be a point in your life where you just want more of yourself. You like, I'm curious on what's on the other side of me not being an identity of people that I'm surrounded by. Because sometimes we could pick on other people's characteristics when we hang with them and be around them, and we find ourselves having the same mindset as them and reverting right back to the ways of who we aren't here to be, and changing your surroundings on who you really are. That's where you need to be. I want to start by saying this. Not everyone becomes an entrepreneur because they want to be rich. Some of us became entrepreneurs because we had to learn how to lead very, very early. And I was one of those individuals. So, first, I do want to make it clear to you guys that this episode is inspired by one of the chapters in my book, The Millionaire Mindset Shift, and it's one of the most personal stories that I've ever told. So, moving on, when I look back on my life, even more from what I had told you already, entrepreneurship didn't start with a business license. It started with responsibility. As a child, I was feeding other kids, as I was telling you guys in a previous episode, and it was just my different neighbors of me organizing things, helping people, and making sure everyone was okay. I didn't call it leadership at the time because I was so young in elementary school. I wasn't thinking about leadership, and I didn't call it a business at the time either because I was still a child and I didn't have any clue about a business. And also, I just thought it was what you do when you care, just when you naturally care about people. But now I understand leadership is often shown when it's before you actually label it, and is taking you all the way back to who you were, because I love kids so much because they are themselves. They haven't caught up to the world yet. They haven't caught up to the masses of everyone trying to become something that they're not. You could see so many characteristics of people, of the friends you with. Then you got your family right there. And then you have the outside world. And then, let alone now, social media. It wasn't social media when I was a kid. It wasn't even social media not until later on after I graduated high school. So it was just kind of different. You know what I'm saying? So it was just the fact that some of us are leaders naturally, but now that we have the tools and everything, we just know exactly who we are today because we're seeing different things. And if you don't know who you are internally, I really pray that this episode will help you find some sort of peace, some sort of placement on where you should be in your life currently, and find that motivation for you to even get there, be there, or even just starting. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. So some of you listening right now, you were the responsible one, the helper, the problem solver, the one who figured things out when adults didn't. That wasn't random. It wasn't random at all, because now, as me being older, everyone in my family comes to me for something. With me knowing paperwork, with me being so, like, it doesn't matter what it is. Honestly, I'm going to toot my own horn. If it's any sort of business, I know how to structure it. I know how to figure it out. I know how to put it together. I know how to, like, pivot you in a different direction and everything. I'm just born with such a creative mind. It's just natural within me. So that's why all of my business has always looked amazing. I always give it my all. I always invest right back into it instead of investing in it into myself. But however, I looked at the business as me being myself. So I wanted to just come through heavy and just make sure I'm giving what I need to give. You got to talk the talk and walk the walk. Presentation is everything. So I always made sure things was just up to par. And so that's when all of my family always come to me with different things when it comes to business and their personal lives and everything. It's like I'm the leader, the go-to person of my family. I'm the one that they trust, and I'm going to tell them the truth. I'm going to navigate them on where they need to go. But here's something people don't talk about. Sometimes entrepreneurship is born from a vision, and sometimes it's born from survival. I really didn't have too much survival. I was fortunate enough to have a blessed life, but I learned how to think on my feet early because of the independence that my mom forced on me to have. And that is like doing chores around the house every Saturday morning, nonstop. My mom was waking us up at 8 a.m. We had to start with our bedroom. Our bedroom, we cleaning our room top to bottom, making sure all our dirty clothes in the basket is down into the laundry room. We starting our own laundry, getting that together. Then we work our way out of our room. Once that is completed, we're doing the bathroom. We're cleaning that top to bottom. We cleaning the dishes. We cleaning the kitchen top to bottom, the living room, the basement. Like, we did every single room in the house. I was left in the house. However, my mom and my brother used to go outside. So they were outside cutting grass and getting everything organized and stuff. And then I ended up working my way out there, blowing the grass from the concrete, edging, all of that stuff. She gave us responsibilities to do everything. So that is the first step, because a lot of things happen at home first. But if you weren't fortunate enough to have those abilities growing up, you should want to shift your mindset to a point where you are creating good habits for yourself. You only have you at the end of the day for you to be able to continue to move forward in life. You can't blame anyone for your shortcomings but you. You have the ability to have the strength to be able to keep moving forward and keep pressing on to a better direction for yourself. How to make something out of nothing, how to carry weight that wasn't really meant for a child. Some of us, some people had to make sure their mom had food on the table, help mom with the bills and stuff. I was fortunate enough my mom didn't want us to have adult problems, didn't have us in adult conversations. I didn't see my mom cry. I didn't see my mom struggle. She kept me being a kid, and she just kept being an adult at the same time. But some people wasn't raised like me, and that was a lot later on that I could tell you about what made it so difficult for me making friends and being around people, because it was so hard for me to have friends. And I still struggle with it a little bit today too, because a lot of people weren't raised like me. I was raised off of love, and so when you are in a relationship with someone, or if you have friends and surroundings with people that wasn't raised off love, they love differently, and it's a lot difficult for you to be able to be around them to a certain extent, because it's they don't really understand where you're coming from, or they think it's an ulterior motive. They always think the worst of the worst before actually accepting the real love that they are receiving. So I've always given my all to someone, but them receiving it and returning it wasn't the same. And I had to learn to accept that and to learn to understand that at the same time, and forgive them and move forward and remove myself. And also, and that builds a lot of strength. It builds a whole lot of strength with you, and it also build up habit. So when you grow up learning to survive, you become resourceful. So I became resourceful in a different way with leading my friends and organizing things, how I organize different events, how I organize my daycare business, how I organize different things. Sometimes I do lack that, because sometimes it can get overwhelming and you just don't feel like doing that. But survival mode can also teach you to overwork, overgive, to never rest, and to feel guilty for slowing down. And that's the mindset that will follow into your business unless you heal it. And I found myself over the years continuing to be on autopilot, to continuing to empty my cup. Like, my cup was so empty, you didn't even have a drop of water in there anymore. It's just nothing there. It was dry. It was just completely dry. I was just still not even able to fill it up. I was just still running through it to a point I was going to make a hole at the bottom of the cup. It was going to rotten out or something. But it can become a lot if you're not healing in the process. I didn't learn to heal not until after I lost my mom 6 years ago, because even during that time, I've still felt myself angry, like the first year when she was gone. So I just found myself just like extremely angry at people and everything, but it started to like kill me in a sense, because I found myself having high blood pressure. I found my feet swelling up, my hands swelling up. I just found so many things going wrong with myself instead of actually healing myself and putting these people behind me where they need to be. And I needed to start loving on Yvette to make sure Yvette stay okay. Because if I'm not okay, nothing won't happen. You know what I'm saying? Everything could just happen to me on my time. I let people win. I don't want no one winning over me. Just me, myself, me loving myself, and a person win over me loving myself. That's just crazy. And I didn't realize that until later. And I had to shift my mindset into healing. I didn't want to have that overworking process. I don't overwork myself at all anymore. I pace myself. I just make sure things is done that need to be done at top priority. But things that aren't top priority, I will pace myself and have days like Tuesdays, I will do this. Wednesdays, I will do this. Thursdays, I will do that. I have different tasks for different days and different times. And I will not let anyone interrupt that at all. If I have something to do, you got to make sure you're on that time. When people calling me back to back or texting me and all of that, if I'm not mentally ready to text you back, I'm not going to text you back, because sometimes people can take your energy or your response or your conversation and they can make what you said about them, when in reality, you're going through your own thing. You got things going on in your mind, and they are making this about them when it's not about you, because you already text me and said something to me. However, you just got on to what you wanted, but you didn't ask me if I was okay. You didn't ask me how was my day going. You didn't ask me how I was doing. You didn't ask me nothing. You barely even say good morning, good afternoon. You don't even say F you. So it's just crazy to me. So once I realized people had that demeanor and that response to your life, and when they make your problems theirs and make it seem like you're giving them a problem when you in reality you're just going through it, I just distance myself from people. I just electric slide on to the side. I just don't got time for it. But it was just a lot for me to even deal with, and I just didn't like dealing with it at all, and I told myself that I wasn't going to continue to deal with that at all. So I shared like some personal information within my book, and you can see things of my mom's finances. I took a picture of it and I put it in my book, and it actually shows you the things that my mom have done and how she took care of two kids, how she was able to purchase two houses before she passed away, how she was able to pay off one of her houses and have another house almost paid for, and she still thrived having a 9 to 5. And once you see what she was making hourly, you will wonder, how did you do it? So I didn't inherit a roadmap. I didn't have a mentor laying everything out on me. So I learned by doing, every role, every mistake, every long night, watching everything that my mom was doing that I thought was powerful. And that's when I learned something very powerful myself. When you don't have a blueprint, you become the blueprint. So with me becoming a blueprint, that's what I always wanted to be growing up, especially once I became an adult. I never wanted to do what someone else is doing. Sometimes you may do things and it could inspire someone, but sometimes what you inspire in someone, they could just copy you. And you have to be careful with people like that. You know what I'm saying? Because you're going to know they're not that person that's supposed to be in your life, because experience builds something that school can't teach us at all. It can't teach us anything, but it builds discernment, it builds resilience, it builds confidence that doesn't depend on an applause. And an applause is something that I do not look for at all, because I feel that everything that I am doing in my life is what I want to do. And I feel like it's what God wants me to do. He literally directs me and tell me what I need to do and what I don't need to do. And as I got older, and once I kept experiencing different things, bumping my head, failing with so many experiences in my life, it created another form of a character where I was building strength upon myself. I was learning from these mistakes, and these mistakes made me so wise. And I'm saying, like, man, I know all of this stuff. And I know this because I hit rock bottom. I didn't have nothing. I didn't have no clue on what to do, how to strategize something and pivot on to the next. I didn't know nothing about that. I didn't start pivoting until I started learning to pivot from me failing all the time. And a lot of people look at failures as a bad thing. Well, hell, I look at them as a good thing because it had helped me get through so much. I don't like the experience. I don't like the crying. I don't like feeling like I'm gonna pass out, having anxiety and all of that. I don't like the feel of the experience when it's actually happening, but the outcome of it, and you can see what God has done for you after that, receiving the blessings after that. Boy, I tell you, I don't want to do it again, but if I had to do it again, I would, because it made me wiser. You have to understand, and you have to pay attention to the things that are transpiring in your life and try to figure out why God is doing these certain things. You can't, well, I can't even say you can't be mad at him because I was pissed. I got mad so many times at God, and I'm just like, why am I going through this? Why are you doing this to me? And you know what was so crazy? It's not really off topic, but it is. But God put you through so much to a point you just want to tussle with them sometimes. And it's like, why are you doing this to me? Like, I give to people, I love on people, I am faithful. I I pray to you. I obey you. Like, I do everything. Why do you keep punishing me? And I just never could understand that. But then I started to learn that it wasn't a punishment. It was a strength. It was a spiritual guidance for me to continue to grow and continue to develop in so many ways, and to continue to help me help his children. Like, these folks is hard-headed, but God gave me an assignment to help them and guide them to not be so hard-headed, because I was hard-headed, you know? So it's like teaching people the mistakes that I made to help them not make the same mistakes as I made. It's very refreshing. It is. And sometimes it can be frustrating because you can see so much in a person. You can see them have so many gifts, but when they don't see it, it's so hard to actually have their mindset believe in themselves. And that's when you have to, like, fall back a little bit. Don't put too much pressure on them. Let them learn on their own. That's when you learn that you could be a blessing blocker or you could be a lesson blocker. And the reason why you can't block a person from learning a lesson, because they are supposed to bump their head at that very moment. If we keep saving them from bumping their head, they will never feel it. They will never appreciate you. They will never love you. That's like you continuing to give to a child. If you continue, hey, mom, I want this toy every time you go into a store. Hey, mom, I want this candy. Hey, I want this car. Hey, I want this house. Hey, and everything they ask for, you give it to them. Everything. They're liable to turn on you. And once you say no, you are going to be the worst person ever in the freaking world. That's why it was just such a blessing for me to be raised the way I was raised, because my mom didn't give us everything. She gave us what she wanted to give us. She didn't care if we wanted it or not. She was just going to give it on her time. And if you ask for something, you going to get either no, yes, or not right now. because that's just how it is. You got to appreciate stuff. You got to have kids work for something. Kids are spoiled. And then you can't give kids everything to a point where you're kissing their butt. You're trying to people please your own child. A child that you can't let my mindset be like, y'all ain't gonna kill me. And she meant every word. As far as us stressing her out or anything, she told us that I love me too much to be all up in that with you. She let us bump our head to the end of time, and then she will sit back and say, I told you. Now you ready? And that's how it should be when you're raising a child. And I do the same thing at my daycare. I teach my kids independence. I teach them how to do things on their own. I have old school workers that are my mom's age in their 60s and 70s teaching kids these things, and their mindset is shifting into a wiser child because they are being brought up differently compared to you going to another daycare where they don't have that form of stern and structure. You know, you can see the difference when you come into my daycare. Them kids is chilling. You will be surprised how well they interact with each other, how they even communicate. When a parent walk in the door, they say hi. We teach them that when someone walks in, or if you're walking in somewhere, hi, how you doing? They will give you a handshake or they'll give you a hug. And it's so loving, it's peaceful. So this is where that mindset comes in. It's like things could shape you to be something that's already in you, but it's going to take time for you to actually bring it out. So, because being born a leader doesn't guarantee wealth, leadership without discipline becomes a burnout. And you don't want to burn yourself out as you continue on. Leadership without boundaries become exhausted. Like, you don't want to be exhausted at all. Leadership without structure becomes chaos. You don't even want chaos, because I had chaos and I didn't want that. That's why the millionaire mindset shift is not about money. It's about emotional maturity, self respect, discipline, healing, patience, alignment. And money just responds to who you become. It really do. You don't have to prove to someone what you have. If you have $1 million, blessings to you. If you have $1 billion, blessings to you. But how are you as a person? How are you inside? Are you healed? Are you okay? Are you loved? Are you cared for? Do people really listen to you? Do they hear your heart when you're talking? Do they see your character, your humbleness? Do they see the millionaire in you? Or do they see what you can give them? And a lot of times it's quiet. You got to have quiet money. It's okay to not look like it. You know, it's really okay to not look like it at all, because you want the right people around you. You want the right people having conversations with you where you could feel human, where you could feel yourself. And when I wrote this chapter for the men and women who always felt different, the one who couldn't explain why he or she thought bigger. It's okay to think big. I think big constantly, nonstop. And why do you always see more out of life? Why you aren't never satisfied? Why are you so hard on yourself? Why did you carry more? Weren't you difficult? And you were developing. You were being prepared and not punished. And it's a big difference between the two. And that's exactly what you were doing. So if you always felt like you were built differently, if responsibility found you early, or if leadership followed you, even when you were, I don't know, when you were down and out, and to a point you didn't ask for it, let me tell you, I'm not even gonna hold you. But you were not created to shrink, and you were created to build. Not just a business, but stability, legacy, freedom. And it starts with how you think. You weren't behind. You were ahead. You were becoming. You were who you needed to be. You are who you need to be today. But if you haven't brought it all the way out full force, then that's a problem. You need to start bringing it out. Stop caring what people think. Just do it. And I had that problem myself with like posting different stuff. I'm like, oh God, they're not gonna like this. So it's usually I just thank God I got Opus Clip. I use Opus Clip so much. This AI stuff is just like heaven on earth because it creates you not really be on social media scrolling and going back to your social media and checking on different things. You could literally post something from your laptop or your desktop and not even touch your phone and go on about your business because it's just it makes me sidetrack sometimes because I'm so hard on myself. And a lot of times, like me talking to you guys now and me making these solo episodes, I really hope it's inspiring you guys because it is times where I just want to delete it. I don't even want to post it because I feel like I ain't saying nothing. I just feel I be feeling like the things that I say isn't even powerful enough. I feel like no one is really hearing me. They're not listening to me for real. I still go through these things like right now today. Like it is hard for me to actually still do this. And I've been podcasting for 6 years now. I've been podcasting that long and I still feel at a standstill. But however, I've come very, very far because at first I wasn't even wanting to do any of this at all. I really wasn't. But I just really hope and pray that this episode had helped you. I pray that it makes sense to you because right now I'm feeling like deleting it. Y'all know I am going to be straight up honest, but however, this is me. This is who I am. I want everyone to get to know me more. I want everyone to get to know my mindset and how I think and how I express myself because over these 6 years I really haven't. Y'all only know the grieving. I want you guys to know the inspirational bit. Some people still feel inspired, but at the same time, I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like I'm not doing enough. So I'm not about to continue to self sabotage myself. Y'all are not about to set me up for that on this episode. But I just want you to know that I am human too just as much as you are. The same way I am going on a rant about different things, I'm quite sure you do the same thing too. But it's human in us. But however, one thing about me, even though I feel this way, even though I don't want to do it, I do it. And then the results are freaking amazing at the end of the day. It's like, man, I should have did this a long time ago. I gotta stop doubting myself, you know? But it makes you feel good in the end because at least changing one person is amazing. It's a beautiful thing. It really is. So thank you everyone for tuning in to Life Her podcast. And this is the third episode of the Millionaire Mindset Shift book series. Um I pray that you guys continue on purchasing my book. And again, you can write in it, you can take notes, and everything is there. It's fully there. And I'm also going to start linking my group. I have a Facebook group where I communicate with everyone and I give them gems and everything. This month I really haven't done too much. I'm in a shifting phase. So I'm going to start going full force in February. And I also have a school site coming up pretty soon where you can look at my courses and everything. So I'm just taking it one day at a time. I'm not pushing it. But right now, I just really want people to get to know me. And I just want to feel the vibes right now. I really just want to feel the whole vibe. I'm letting God lead me, and then I could come and talk to y'all. So thank you again. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube, and also send this episode to somebody that you know. Make sure you like and comment on my podcast, because it's an option. Y'all can scroll on down, give me some stars, leave a comment, leave a review. Let your girl know how you feel about it. But I appreciate y'all. Have a blessed one.